Alright, welcome back to the Hammond collection. We're gonna work on the outer paddocks here. Get these started. Probably we should move one of the dilos maybe to a far paddock down here. That way we're kind of getting people going all over the park because our path capacity is kind of bad. And it's the main thing holding our ratings back. We also do need a hotel, but like there's a whole suite of problems that need to be resolved before we really care that much about a hotel. I have planned out an idea of what I was gonna do for this park, and then I forgot it, left it somewhere. But I remember the details. So essentially, with the small carnivore pens, I think we take these outer two areas here to the left and the right. These get carved into like 3 enclosures for our very small carnivores, and then these center ones get split up just like the Carno and Cerato are here for 2. So it'll be 3, 2, 2, and 3 for small and medium carnivore enclosures. And then we need like 4 enclosures back here for large animals, and then we need, this herbivore enclosure, and then we need Spinosaurus, Baryonyx, and Irritator back here somewhere probably. So I think we'll continue the swamp. And eventually we'll loop it through and back around this way. We'll have a whole swamp sector like that. But for now, this specific herbivore-only swamp is a good enough start that we're going to leave it alone. We're not going to mess with any of the back part. That'll be like later. I think after we fill these pens up. Like if we get Baryonyx early, I think we'll put it in one of these pens temporarily and worry about putting it over here when we're getting Eerie and Spino and building up the whole sector. I want the arena for the Rex. And then we'll have like Allo, Giga, and Theory got to go back here somewhere. And then we need an additional herbivore pen, maybe up here near the entrance. And we need an aviary, which probably goes over here by the shoreline. I think the aviary could be fairly small because it's Geosternbergian Dimorphodon. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty full park. So we'll have to figure all that out. I think the first thing to do today, though, is definitely we got to get these pens here put in. But before we do that, I might want to unlock some additional fences. Low security and decorative. And then a bunch of stuff there, and a bunch of stuff there too. Because it's always nice to kind of have these all available when we're like designing stuff. I think I want to mix up the pens a little bit and not just use the same fence everywhere. I think I like the idea of having kind of a higher tier fence for the medium carnivores and stuff, so it can be kind of fun to just differentiate the fences by like security tier, I think. Alright, so now we have like what, 20 of these guys? They need more ground leaf. So yeah, I think we, okay, so the boat goes that way and then like that way. Somewhere like that, so like we could put some in here. I need to keep like the, actually I could also do this. We could just drop the intensity really low and toss a little bit more in the water in random spots, and then it's probably not going to be so many like logs that the, boats look weird when they move through. And it gets the swamp vibes going. Yeah, so that log there might want to remove. I mean, we could like keep an eye on it. If the boat goes like here, maybe the logs are fine. It's all about aesthetics. As long as the boats aren't clipping through the logs, I'm pretty happy. Okay, there's also this spot. Okay, they're close to good. If they move around a little bit more, since there's more of them, they'll also have a bigger territory, and then we can give them some more ground leaf somewhere else. I could also throw in a little Tempeschia just for the little bit different vibe. You know, just a little bit of different stuff growing in the swamp. Why not? Little random stand of Tempeschia on the shoreline. Okay, fossil check real quick. So the trikes, close to completed. We'll need them in a new pen. They go with the Pachycephalosaurus, Stygimoloch, and Ankylosaurus. You got a new phone, Rugops? What is the strange icon you were seeing? Oh, on like the phone? I would have no earthly idea. I have not gotten a new phone for many a year, because I barely use my phone. 3 logistics is all we have left on the cheap research guy, which is not enough for fences, so I think we'll leave it there, and I think I'll just start designing the paddocks here. Okay, so here's what we got. We got these 2 small outlying carnivore pens, 3 paddock sections per sector. There's kind of a little T-split at the back coming off the middle of the curve, and then the front section becomes a different pen. And that's probably the best we can do as well to make sure that all the different species are at least somewhat visible from the viewing paths, because if we look at the visibility, there is a gap in the middle. Not a huge gap, but a gap nonetheless. I did accidentally destroy part of the Carnivore pen, so they were a little bit threatening there for a moment. We are currently also sedating the Dilos. We should probably take a contract today. Unfortunately, there's more than 3 raptors on the toy line, so we want to represent every version of the raptor that's been produced. So that's a minimum of JP, Lost World, 2 JP3s, Blue and Delta, 6, I think, minimum. I think that's everyone. Tour ride. Tour ride's pretty good. I don't know if we've done it. I think we have, because we have the boat tour. That requires us to do all the tour rides, right? Yeah. Put in a little go-kart track. All right.
Okay, maybe it's louder.
And then, yeah, so we should do... My point, right? I could do more fence research. We get the invisible wall here. Oh, yeah, we don't actually get invisible fences because we're... Or did I do this with all eras or just JP? No, I did this just JP era. So we don't get the BIOS and invisible fences, so we do have to use the modded invisible walls. What is... Oh, that's another gate, I think. But that'll work. We can do that. Let's get one of these guys in. We'll put them in both in kind of as in the same position as much as we can get it. Wait, is that... It should be like that. That orientation should be like the best one, logically. Don't know if I put it in with that orientation. Hey, Primal Gamer, how's it hanging? No, I did put this in with like the netting to the back, so that's good. Okay. Ranger Team 1. Ranger Team 2. Do I not have a... No, I do have a ranger post. Just nobody's doing their job. Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, fences. Can I do... This is only 5, so I should be able to do this and still excavate. So I could do these 2. Then we can go look for more trike, which we got to put that pen in soon too. Guess we go back here. And then that's not worth processing. So that leaves me with 6 genetics. But I only have 1 logistics, so I can't actually, like, Well, I could knock out like a Pato on the path to Brocky or something. Sure. It's a little awkward sending this out as a twofer, but might as well do something. Alright, then I'll continue sedating and moving the Dilos. Okay, paddock upgrades are underway. Fossils are here. Don't really care about Uopla, we want Trike. Trike. Completed. Then fill it in with whatever. So Trike's done. What next? What are next? Troceraptor going in the park. Anki going in the park. Wait, why did we already have Anki? Is that because... Yeah, that's because of the glitch with the research tree not being fixed before I started the park. So we shouldn't have Anki. I honestly, do I even care that Anki is incorrectly unlocked? Because it's so bad. It's such a bad dinosaur. I don't even feel bad about cheating it in. I think I'm just going to roll with that, honestly. Because otherwise, we put in like 2 Ankis at the very end of the park build, and then we end the series. And that's all we get. So, yeah. We could push Pachycephalosaurus. I mean, I guess I could just push Anki now that we inadvertently have it unlocked. 10 logistics, though? I don't know if we can swing that. Yeah, not really. So that's still too expensive. Brocky? Okay, let's try and properly do the research for Brocky. Which is all the way up here, actually. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe we don't properly do the research for Brocky. Okay, so let's think about what we can actually regularly have access to. Are we supposed to have this? Right now? Maybe. Maybe that's an automatic unlock, actually. Maybe my research trees are just mangled. I don't know. We did Galley. Yeah, there's actually not really anything for herbivores, so let's go to the carnivores. So Dimetrodon's available. We can dig up Dimetrodon. That makes sense. Troodon's already unlocked too. So Dimetrodon, Troodon, Baryonyx, Metri, Conch. Yeah, let's do this. Metri, Conch, Havinator. Let's unlock that. And then we'll go dig up Dimetrodon. And that leaves me with some welfare. Did we do all the vaccine treatments? Iguanodon works like that normally. Okay. The thing that throws me is it looks like it shouldn't because of where it is on the tree. It feels weird, but I guess it just happens to zigzag. Maybe because of Encolodicus being added near the end of the game was why this now is weird to me. That's got to be it. Because this wouldn't have been here and these would have been pushed together more. And then Iguanodon would have been not so weirdly offset. So that's why it messed me up. Yeah, that's all unlocked, so I guess that's all we do right now. So yeah, I'm going to sedate these guys and upgrade their fences. And change the gates to match these gates. For the medium carnivore pens. And then we'll get Metri and Concavinator to go with the Ceratocarnos. The Dilos right now we put in 2 pens temporarily because we have way too many for the pen size. But I don't want to just sell them. I want to actually, like, figure out... Oh, that must be us running out of backup power? Oh, these fences are building, and then we're losing power. Yes. Right. Let's just put in another power station. Fuck it. But where? Okay, back here makes sense because this is like a nothing area. Really upset that the terrain levels are different, though. That really It really is just fucking me right off. I could delete this pylon, and then we can put this in here, maybe. Sure, let's do it. Cut power to the whole park. And this guy can actually sneak in all the way back here. Okay, that's pleasing. A puzzle piece is right in there perfectly, and I like it. It makes me happy. Obstructed by the expedition center. Fight me. Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I hate it. We'll do that, I guess. That's the worst. We can do this. And then we delete this line, and then it looks more natural. It still sucks, but it looks a little bit better. There. Perfection achieved. Okay. Did I do viewing path on that? I think I did viewing path on that. I did. Replace it to save money. We should get wide paths too soon. Just for the areas in the park that are not viewing path. Should we do that, actually? Because aesthetically, it's going to be really hard to make it match, because it'll be thicker. I guess they're like, oh, because, yeah, it'll do, like, weird things back here, right? Because if this is wide path, I think it'll cause a little nub back here if this isn't wide path. Maybe we just don't use wide paths in this park at all. We just live with the path capacity shit. Being bad. Maybe that's the way to do it. Alright, who's sick? What's wrong with you? Are you... You're probably gonna have some I'm sad because you made my pen bad disease. And maybe we'll put some dilos up in here too. Nope, that's probably just a disease breakout. I could just open the gates. I could just do this. Like, we just make this all in one pen. Avian influenza. Sorry. Why are you... Cures over time. Wait, so this is unmet needs. Okay, well, perfect. That's why we popped the gates. Territories are merged, and now they're happy. Alright, job done. So that'll take care of this until later. Until we, like, need that area. We'll put the Dimetrodons on the other side. Trank you, and trank you. Okay, so these guys here are probably going to stop me from upgrading the fence because they're too close to it. But we can airlift them and then, like, replace the fence real quick when they're in the air. Fossil check. Okay, yeah, we had an extra batch to process and I didn't do it. But that's fine. We got a little bit of space here to sneak in. Let's optimize a little bit. So that's you. We gotta build that trike pen, too. Yeah, we'll get the Dimetrodons. That'll unlock the genes. Then we can make a push for upgrading scientists and unlocking other stuff there. Large amenities wouldn't be bad, too. Power upgrades are available, but we also need 9 logistics for that. Large hotels is 9. We don't need a monorail, I don't think. Well, we might need it. No, we're on Jurassic. We're in Jurassic Park era, so we shouldn't need monorails. Going on vacation to Hawaii? Damn. I've been to Hawaii on a school trip. Like a college trip for a conference. It's a crazy place. Okay, why don't we just work on Prerex then, I guess. We can do Dracorex to unlock Pachycephalosaurus. And I think these two can just sit. Do we want to put this cheaper guy to save 30k? I don't think it's worth it for 30k. It's pretty borderline. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I guess we could synth the trikes. Let's do that. Let's Okay, so there's 2 trikes in the Hammond collection. There's the baby, which is like the Gentle Giants petting zoo trike that's being ridden by a kid. And then there's the larger trike, which is not really in scale with the rest of the toy line, but is a 1993 style osteoderm back Triceratops. So we've got 2 skins selected here, one for a Jurassic World gray, one for a Jurassic Park brown. So we'll pick from those 2 at random. This should just be blank. And then, yeah, we won't put any genes on these guys because we don't have the alpha stuff yet. Alright, so I'm gonna do the replacements here and get the herbivore pen for the trike started. Alright, there we go. Everything is as good as it's gonna get, at least. So these pens are currently pretty lackluster. What I might do is as we add more animals, I may cut down the populations we have after we get the alphas in so that we could try to put in some decorative stuff. I did have like biome outlines for these pens, ideas of what I wanted in them, so I'd like to try to do that, but that's going to require cutting the populations down if we want decorations. And I think I'm willing to make that compromise. I don't think it's terribly important to me that I get the absolute maximum of everything in there. We should probably... Well, we have 9 on these 2. I was going to say we should probably look for logistics specialists, but maybe not. Maybe we can roll with what we got mostly. Yeah, so like the Dilos, like we could release an alpha into here. And just leave it as these like 3 pens connected together for now until we need it for something else. Let's do the large territory one, I guess. 22, so 2 galleys. That seems fine. I can do that.
More potential problems we have to keep an eye on. Vigilance is the name of the game.
Alright. Gallimimus. We're literally just going to do the 2. That's going to put you over. That's probably fine. I never did build the ceratopsid enclosure, so I should probably get that built. I'm thinking it's going to go over here, and it's going to be a viewing gallery proper enclosure. Not using the paths. But we don't need to do that quite yet. I can do that in a moment. So, we got social fit, social docile, fit, social fit. Yeah, sure. And I think I want the alpha for the Dimetrodon before we release that, so I think we will do the trikes.
But when we let the dinosaurs fight, or when
and we'll wait on the Dimetrodon, and then maybe we'll start doing the research for
this research may eventually help us to better
for the staff upgrade stuff we want to do as well. So I think if we put this like right here at the start, I'm kind of okay with that. We'll build the fence off of there like that somewhere. Sure. Why not? Alright, let me set that up. Alright, well, working on some additional upgrades here to the park, but we are currently running on backup power, completely maxed out even with the additional generator. So we're going to do output right away, 6 and 3. Get that. We can still hatch the trikes though. So what do we got? We got 6 eggs, weak, thirsty, social, skip the aggressive. Oops. Also aggressive. So we get 4. 1 World 3 JP. That's fine by me. Vastly prefer the JP style one, so not a problem. This is what we're doing for our Ceratopsid and Chilosaurid. Our Marginocephalia and Chilosaurid pen. Stegos will go in the swamp. Basic pen, taking advantage of the corner there. Still enough room to put some shops in here. We should do large amenities right now, too, because we do need more amenities. I've been slacking. But, 99% in that bathroom's not covered. That's not bad. Shelter 100. Okay, it's kind of working. If we had power, it'd be working pretty good. But, we don't, so it isn't. But we're close. Anything else we should be doing right now? We could synth something. We got 2 welfare people, but really we want... No, we don't want to synth anything because we want to get the trikes out and then do research. Okay, there's the power. So we gotta fully upgrade this shit. And then see where we're at. Okay, yeah, we're not using backup generator anymore and everything's powered, including the arena even. Perfection. Alright, and there's the trikes.
Picking up asset. Acknowledging asset collection request.
Alright. Confined space unlocks automatically. So we just need group adaptation, which we actually have everything we need for. I didn't really realize we'd just be able to do that. We even get to cheaper research. Like, I didn't think about the fact that we had that. But it makes sense. We have 2 6 geneticists. So get that, and then we can go dig up Troodon, I guess. Sure, get started on that. But then, yeah, this will be done. We can do Dimetrodon. So we're going to put Dimetrodon and Troodon over here, I guess. They're originally going to be paired with the Dilo in my planning, but we can't count on that because we need to resolve the overpopulation of the Dilos. So I think what we'll do,
What can be said about the
we'll get them over
Triceratops?
here,
This is one of those dinosaurs that really define.
and then we'll
our
move the
business.
Dilos that we're going to keep
We won't
over,
see them,
I think,
and we won't
eventually.
share them with the world. Don't let
Maybe
that fearsome appearance
front
fool
pen
you.
is Dilo, and this
Those
is Troodon
horns are mostly for
Dimetrodon.
defense and impressing
Might
other
work.
Triceratops. This animal is an herbivore. It can be a star attraction or a security nightmare if it turns those horns on our fencing.
Asset delivery confirmed.
Okay, he wants a lot of fiber in his diet. Fair enough. Alright, well, there's our herd. 2 variations. We'll get a alpha in here, and then that'll be good enough, I think. Ooh, egg. That's pretty good. Bunch of egg. Alright. Yeah, we could still do this, right? Hold on. Maybe we hold off. Let's get the stuff. Pause. Dimetrodon. Alright, Dimetrodon. So this is just the film skin because that's what's in the Hammond collection. I could keep this as a 6. 75, 75? That's still pretty damn good, actually. Let's do that then, yeah. Another consideration. Thirsty Quenched. Do I want to do Drought Tolerance? How often am I actually going to remove that? Like, we could do it on Dimetrodon, but that's, like, probably one of the few cases where we actually have enough gene points to do that. I think we just ignore it. Also, if it's not on the alpha, I don't think it matters, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like, it matters for them, like, dying of dehydration, like the rate that they go down, but it doesn't matter for the territory quality, I think. The willow trees are nice. I like the willows. Oh, I think we had another decorative tree that I missed as well. This is true. Yeah, the cypresses, because they were down here under the perch trees. Yeah, I was thinking the cypresses would be good for the swamp too. They have a swamp vibe to them. Plus they're bigger trees, which looks nice. Yeah, because I noticed these were in the mod pack, and then I looked them up, and they are in, like, Louisiana and shit. So I think it makes sense for the biome here to have them. Yeah, we need another big one, like, over here somewhere. Yeah. Alright, 6 Dimetrodon, Skittish, Social Humble Intall. That's a perfect alpha. And not a lick of Thirst. So let's think about this. Hold on. If we go to Synthesized Dimetrodon, Min Pop 3. I think I'll take all 6. It's probably fine. And we'll put him in... I don't know if these are... They should be like the same size. Yeah. Well, they might have slightly different angles, because they're the same size as sized by the curve here. This one maybe is saying that's a little bit smaller to me. Maybe. Maybe it feels a little smaller, maybe. Maybe I'm imagining it. Who really knows?
Heading to collect the asset. Heading to pick up the asset. Asset to be collected.
These guys are meat? Or are they prey? I think they're meat, right? We'll check in a second. They can be landed first. Let's decide what we're doing next. Large amenities. Let's get large amenities knocked out. And then start breeding alphas?
Asset transportation in progress.
Let's start with the Triceratops, maybe? Just because it's the last thing we did, we'll work backwards or something. Oh, they look weird when they're being airlifted in. Hold on, can I see another one in the air? Yeah, wait, his sail is like... I guess his whole spine is kind of flopped over, but yeah, his sail is like kinked. Awkward. I will be getting the Spinosaurus once it hits store shelves, if I can find one, of course. I'll be getting the whole wave. At least that's the plan. Okay, so these are sand, meat, water. Oh, right. These guys are, like, weirdly aquatic. Yeah, I forgot about that. They want a ton of water. Which is annoying. I'm actually most psyched, I think, about the Stego, personally. Because a good Stego figure is hard to get. Like, we had a pretty good Spino already in Mattel's lines, but I think the base Stegos have been pretty poor, personally. So I'm psyched to see like a nice stego. Obstructed. Kind of want to put the meat feeder in the corner like the other ones. The Tiger Raptor, unfortunately, has a really wonky jaw. I've been looking at the quality control comments on that from people. And it seems like the bottom jaw is too big. And so it gets like a weird Jay Leno chin, which sucks. Storm rolling in. I guess we'll pop the shelters here. Alright, we should have our people doing something too, because everybody's idle right now. Although we're going to have power cuts, but whatever. Social Humble Alpha. And then 2 mediocre ones. I might as well take these all. Yeah, Godzilla 98 chin. That's a good example too. That's a more appropriate example because it's, you know, dinosaur adjacent. I know that 98 Godzilla is an iguana. Don't come after me. Alright, we'll sand this shit up. Yeah, there goes the power. I should have sent out an expedition too. I still can. Actually, is there any other research to do? Probably staff upgrades. Nope, that's a 16. None of this matters. We can do heavy fence. Sure. That way, if I decide to cut the cheaper research guy loose, at least I've done some of the research. Okay, injury. Let's check that. Could be anywhere. It's all in this pen. Okay. Actually, let's it's already on the way to the Stratos, so let's make sure it gets that done. And then we can go do these. Okay, that's just a cures over time. Silicosis or whatever. Same. Well, I mean, 98 Godzilla is specifically an iguana. Like, that's in the movie. I know this. But yes, like, that's like the one instance where it's specifically an iguana, so it's not typically an iguana. So you could have a variant that could be anything. Yeah, the Godzillasaurus or whatever too shows up in a bunch of stuff. Alright, so what are we doing here? Area is not good. Who's the alpha, though? Alpha's 1. Humble, social, skittish. So that's actually as good as it gets. So we only want 4 Dimetrodons, I guess, in this pen. And that's just going to need more water. Alright, so my original plan for this park was to, like, try and kind of rank the populations based on how much I like the individual figure. I don't think that's going to be an option because a lot of these pens are going to be pretty minimal. So I think we're just going to kind of throw that out. Okay, well that's done now. So let's get this park under control. Silicosis, silicosis, silicosis. Silicosis. Who's injured? This guy? Silicosis. Oh, over here, over here. Surface wounds. Is that not... Okay, he's on the way. He just never got there. He never got through the swamp. Contracts. Shrek got in the way. It stopped him from getting there. Snappy. Dilo sleeping. We'll try it. Not a priority, though. So, what is a priority is going to be the Dimetrodons. So, humble and social Intal is the primary one. So that's the best alpha. Number 3. Anybody actively bad? Oh yeah, we got multiple ones of those. Skittish 4. Skittish 1. I think we'll get rid of the skittishes, because technically that's the only, like, really detrimental trait. So 1 and 4. 4. 1. Yeah, Stego doesn't get the love it deserves from a lot of things, including the franchise. It's a pretty neat animal. Just, it needs a redesign in the World Saga to be not the worst looking piece of shit ever, too. So I guess that's kind of the problem. Oops. There we go. Like, we have one movie that actually does anything with the Stegosaurus where it doesn't look like shit. Like, it gets a little bit of, like, relevant screen time in Fallen Kingdom, but it's an awful design, so, like, who cares? It doesn't even have a beak in Fallen Kingdom, which is just sad. And they had to invent, like, nonsense lore about how it was a medical condition, which is, like, really stupid. Undiagnosed ailment. Could you explain this to me? Okay, how bad are we? Still pretty bad. So let's get rid of the other one. It's weird that we don't have a Pteranodon in the Hammond collection yet, because, like, they did one for the Amber collection. Maybe that's why they haven't done a Hammond collection one, because they already had a collector figure for one of the Pteranodons. And they just said, why bother? Okay, so this wasn't even updated yet exactly, but... Or no, it was, because we had 6 originally. So we might need to cut this down to 3. Yeah, because they're only at 84%. I don't love only doing 3 because their social is just 3, but I think we'll have to do it. So humble, social, intol, and then this is the 5 is the only outlier. All right, well that was a little bit of a waste of money, but we'll cut it down to 3. Yeah, the rumors said we were getting a new trike design for Rebirth. I haven't heard anything about that anymore, and like we obviously haven't seen it in the trailers. But if they give Trike a new redesign, they need to give one to Stego too, because it needs it. But as far as we know, Stego's not even in Rebirth, which is kind of sad. Of course, Triceratops never does anything in any of these movies either. Like, anymore. Like, it had, you know, a decent minute scene in Lost World, and of course it had a big scene in the original film, but, like, it hasn't done shit since then. Yeah, Anki could also definitely use a good scene. Although Anki, you know, had a fight in Jurassic World, so... Anki's done something more recently than Stego or Trike has. Oh, but it also needs a redesign, yes, because the only good Anki design is JP3. That's probably what you meant. Well, I mean, Anki is in Rebirth, so we might get a new design. Okay, we don't have the Alpha yet, and they're already close to good, so I think we can ignore the Trikes and they'll probably just be fine. Yeah, JPOG, didn't really do anything wrong, dino-wise. What did I just do? I think I just hit cancel completely. Okay. Who's dying and why? You are dying... Because you have rabies? Sorry, I think I sent the medical team to check, and then I didn't do anything else after that. So he's, like, kicking the fences, probably. That's my bad. He can't even damage him. He's just hurting himself. Inky was Colin's favorite, supposedly. I thought it was Microceratus, or maybe they were both some of his favorites or something. Yeah, the fact that I don't know how they resisted not giving us a T-Rex versus Trike fight in this franchise. Like, I kind of respect it in a way that they haven't given us the obvious thing. Oh, Alberto Screeching? No, the Alberto Screeching's iconic. What are you talking about? That's a core feature. Anybody sleeping? Nice.
The dinosaurs
Okay, we have like a ton of money, so it's also I'm gonna kind of stop doing contracts, I
capture
think.
one's imagination, and we continue to capture information with.
Wow, even with 3, this pen doesn't
such as
work.
This latest objective.
That
That is a feather in your cap.
kind of sucks. Not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. I really thought that Metrodon with Humble Social actually worked out pretty well for a pen, well, like a small pen, but I guess not this small. I could try moving them here and see if this pen is any bigger, but probably gonna wait on that. Are you serious? Oh, because I don't have rabies researched. God damn it. So every time I've clicked on it, it was doing a medical scan for one other issue or another. Because I don't actually have. Where are my Jeeps? There's one here. Where the hell's the other one? Where is it? Here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get the... Come on, JWE. Come on. Spare me of this bouncy bullshit. We're going to get the Troodon in. We'll see if the Troodon is happy in the pen next to the Metrodons. Maybe we'll consider moving them. We should breed a Dilo. Did I get the right one? No, I need specifically the one over here somewhere. Alright, there we go. Carnivores have really small environmental needs in desert biomes specifically. Right, because they don't need forest or whatever, because it's not a thing. Yeah, I guess we just make you mad. That's fine. Alright, so I think we need to sort out this carnivore issue. That'll be the next big objective. So we need to get the Dilo Alpha bred next, so that I can, like, figure out what is going to work for the Dilos. So here's the plan. We breed... I guess we just hatch one Dilo. We get the Alpha, and we don't care about the other ones. And then we give them some friends, and we see about getting a pen that works. Let's pause here for a second. Do we have... Okay, so I could close... I unpause specifically, actually. We could close off one of these gates if we can get 3 of them in here. And that'll tell us something about what we'll actually need for space. Okay, rabies is done. Let's actually treat this guy who's had rabies and... Imagine having rabies and being in a swamp. He's got hydrophobia, and there's nothing but water. What a nightmare. Metru, Mahjong, Cryo, and Quanju specifically. Only one of those actually goes in this park, unfortunately. Okay, so yes, Dilo. Social Humble Fit. I guess that's optimal. You're already mad at me. I guess we better treat you. Alright. Can you... No, don't all walk out here. I need 3 of you to be in one of these 2 pens, please. Dilophosaurus, please. Alright, the Dilo Alpha's flying over, so right now, if they work out well in a pen, then we can work on the Troodon, and maybe there's a way where they can all be happy, and everything can be good. 90% is like, we could just leave it. We could just let these guys be at 90% comfort. It always bugs me, but we can technically just have that be good enough. What I'm thinking is, if the Troodons can fit in this instead, we could put the Dimetrodons out here, maybe. And the Dilos are looking like they'll be good. Maybe. We need the new Alpha to take over. But this looks good to me. Like, once the Alpha changes, I think we'll be good. This is only 4% off without the Alpha. We could even maybe... I mean, maybe there's a chance we can fit a 5th Dilo in there. I'm going to just take the revenue contract and ignore it.
We're in the paleo curation business, sure. But people only hear that paleo part. However, it's that second business part.
All right, well, that can be... We can worry about that more later. We're at like 50 minutes here, so we'll check the fossils and then send out the scientists again and call it a day. Then next time we'll get the Troodons early and quickly and settle the carnivores out. And then we're going to have a hell of a time when it comes to the raptors. I think there's like no chance we can fit Pyro, Atrociraptor, and Velociraptor in those equivalent paddocks. So we'll probably have to knock a wall down and like redo it. Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would bet that it's not going to work. And none of the small carnivores we have in this park are scavengers either, so like we can't cohab. Yeah, we're just gonna have to do another carnivore pen somewhere else, I guess. You know what we could do? We could put the Dimetrodons on the... No, because the... Well, maybe we put the Dimetrodons on the boat tour, because they do favor a lot of water. So them being in a swamp kind of makes sense. Maybe. We'll think about it. We'll keep it in the back of our mind, but I'm gonna probably try and keep them kind of where they are. So yeah, let's get these processed. That'll finish up Troodon. We could start working on Metri and Concavenator. Did we not do the research for those yet? No, we did. I couldn't find the Metridig site. Yeah, I mean, the big problem is definitely just that I want one of each Velociraptor variant, and that's going to mean having 6 or 7 raptors in the park. So, like, the Velociraptor is, like, the one that we can't, like, cut the corner on, because I definitely want every variation, or every variation in the toy line. So that's just going to be an issue. It just is. Do I want to start digging this up? What else would I do? Concavenador's in the toy list. He had a figure based on the diorama from Fallen Kingdom, oddly enough. All right, let's put a point in here. And then we could put a point in. We can put a point in here, and we can do a 9 genetics cost one. Let's do that. Let's research something. Bajung, Giganoraptor, Baryonyx. We could do Barry, but Barry goes in the back ideally, so I'm probably not gonna do it. We don't have a spot for it either. What about the Raptors? Oh, we have Velociraptor, Atrociraptor unlocked. Probably by star rating, right? Where's Pyro? Pyro's there. Okay. Pyro's also unlocked. So all the Raptors are available. So there's that. Pachycephalosaurus. Let's do that. Maybe I keep the welfare specialist back. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do another point here. So 8, cheaper research. And then... yeah, nothing left to do here, so I think the welfare person we just keep around? I mean, unless I want to put in... no, we don't want to do... we do need aviary, but we don't want to invest a bunch of points and pick up another scientist. Do that right now. Okay, let's end this episode here. Until next time.